The chamber was massive. Daehyun stood at the center, looking up at hundreds of alien faces staring down at him. Some had eyes, some did not. Some breathed air like humans. Others floated in liquid-filled containers. This was the Galactic Council, and today they would decide humanity's future. Daehyun had been Earth's ambassador for 20 years. He knew every species here, knew their languages and customs. He had worked hard to make friends for humanity. He thought he had succeeded. Now he realized he had been wrong. High Arbiter Kelthrak spoke. His voice sounded like crystal bells ringing. His body glowed with soft blue light as he read the decree that would change everything. Humanity has been found guilty of aggressive expansion. You move too fast. You build too many ships. You ask too many questions. The Council has decided that you are a threat to galactic stability. Daehyun felt his heart sink. He wanted to speak, to defend his people, but he knew he had to listen first. The worst was yet to come. Therefore, the Council orders the following. First, humanity must destroy 90% of your military ships within 18 months. Second, all remaining ships must have Council tracking devices installed. Third, all human colonies outside your home system must accept Council governors. Fourth, humanity will lose all voting rights for 50 years. And finally, all artificial intelligence research must stop immediately. All existing AI systems must be destroyed. The chamber was silent. Daehyun stood perfectly still, but inside he was screaming. These terms were not just harsh. They were designed to break humanity completely. Without ships, they could not defend themselves. Without colonies, they would be trapped. Without AI, they would lose their greatest advantage. Without voting rights, they would have no voice. Why? Daehyun asked. His voice was steady, but his hands were shaking. What have we done to deserve this? A Vextar representative spoke next. The Vextar were one of the oldest and most powerful species in the Council. You innovate too quickly. In 43 years, you have advanced more than most species do in 1,000. This disrupts the natural order. This threatens peace. Peace, Daehyun repeated. He understood now. This was not about peace. This was about fear. The old species were afraid that humanity would surpass them. They were afraid of change. How long do we have to decide? Daehyun asked. 48 hours, Kelthrak said. After that, we will take your silence as acceptance. Daehyun bowed and left the chamber. His aide, a young officer named Junho, was waiting outside. The young man looked worried. Sir, I heard everything through the broadcast. This is bad. This is really bad. Get me a ship, Daehyun said. I need to return to Earth immediately. And send an emergency signal to Admiral Hyejin, Dr. Minho, and Secretary General Ji-young. Tell them we need to meet as soon as I arrive. The journey to Earth took 6 hours using the fastest ship available. Daehyun spent the entire time thinking. He had studied Council history. He knew what happened to species that received decrees like this. 127 species had been given similar orders over the past 50,000 years. Every single one had complied. Every single one had faded into irrelevance within a few generations. The Council knew how to break a species slowly. First, take away their ability to defend themselves, then take away their freedom, then take away their voice. Finally, take away their ability to innovate. What remained would be a shell, a species that existed but no longer mattered. When Daehyun arrived at Earth, the emergency meeting was already being prepared. He went straight to the United Nations Command Center in Geneva. The building was old by human standards, over 400 years old, but it had been continuously upgraded. Now it served as the heart of Earth's unified government. Secretary General Ji-young was waiting for him in the main conference room. She was 62 years old, with gray hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. Next to her sat Admiral Hyejin, the commander of Earth's defense fleet. Hyejin was 51, with short black hair and a reputation for being brilliant, but stubborn. Across from them was Dr. Minho, the youngest person in the room at 43. He led humanity's artificial intelligence research program. Tell us everything, Ji-young said. Daehyun explained the Council's decree. He did not soften the truth. He told them exactly what would happen if humanity complied, and exactly what would happen if they refused. Admiral Hyejin was the first to speak. They want us to destroy our fleet? They want us defenseless? This is insane. We should tell them to go to hell. If we refuse, they will enforce the decree by force, Daehyun said quietly. The Council has 847 member species. Their combined military power is overwhelming. So we should just accept? Hyejin asked. We should just roll over and die slowly. Dr. Minho leaned forward. There might be a third option. We do not comply, but we also do not fight. What do you mean? Ji-young asked. We leave, Minho said simply. We withdraw from the council completely. We take our ships, our colonies, our technology, and we go. We find our own space far from council control. We build our own civilization on our own terms. The room fell silent. No species had ever left the council voluntarily. It was unthinkable. It was crazy. It was also, Daehyun realized, the most human idea he had ever heard. That is a very dangerous proposal, Ji-young said slowly. If we leave, we lose access to council trade routes. We lose access to their knowledge databases. We lose protection. We would be completely alone. We would be free, Admiral Hyejin said. There was something in her voice now, something hard and determined. Free to make our own decisions. Free to build whatever we want. Free to go wherever we want. Daehyun looked at each of them. He thought about the decree. He thought about the 127 species that had accepted similar terms. He thought about what made humans different from all those other species. Humans had never been good at following rules they did not help write. Humans had never accepted limits they did not choose. For thousands of years, whenever someone told humans they could not do something, humans found a way to do it anyway. This was both humanity's greatest strength and greatest weakness. We need to think about this carefully, Ji-young said. This decision will affect billions of people. We need to hear from everyone. Colonial representatives, military leaders, scientists, economists, philosophers. We need to understand all the consequences before we decide. We have 48 hours, Daehyun reminded them. Then we work fast, Ji-young said. Daehyun, you contact every colonial governor. Hyejin, you talk to your military commanders. Minho, you reach out to the scientific community. I will speak with our economic advisors and cultural leaders. We meet back here in 12 hours. As they left the conference room, Junho approached Daehyun again. Sir, what do you think will happen? Daehyun looked out the window at the city below. Millions of people going about their lives unaware that their entire future hung in the balance. I think, he said quietly, that we are about to find out who we really are. The next 12 hours changed everything. Across human space, from Earth to the farthest colonies, people gathered to discuss the council's decree. Arguments erupted in government buildings, military bases, research stations, and family homes. Everyone had an opinion. Everyone was afraid. When the leaders reconvened in Geneva, the conference room was packed. Colonial governors appeared on video screens covering the walls. Military commanders sat in uniform, their faces serious. Scientists, economists, and philosophers filled every available seat. This was not just a government meeting anymore. This was humanity deciding its own fate. Secretary General Ji-young stood at the front of the room. She looked tired. She had not slept at all. We have heard from thousands of people in the last 12 hours, she began. Now we need to make a decision. I will present 3 options. Then we will debate. Then we will vote. Option 1. We comply with the Council's decree. We reduce our military, accept their oversight, and continue as a member species. Option 2. We refuse the decree and prepare for war. Option 3. We withdraw from the Council completely and establish our own independent civilization. A woman stood up. Her name was Yoonji, and she represented the colonial administration. I support option 1, compliance. Yes, the terms are harsh, but we will survive. War would kill millions. Independence would isolate us completely. At least in the Council we have allies. We have trade. We have a future. Several people nodded. Yoonji continued, her voice growing stronger. Look at history. 127 species have accepted similar decrees. They survived. Some of them eventually regained their rights. This is not the end if we are smart about it. Admiral Hyejin stood next. With respect, Director Yoonji, you are wrong. Those 127 species did not survive. They exist, yes, but they do not matter anymore. They have no voice, no power, no influence. They are pets in the Council's zoo. Is that what you want for humanity? The room erupted in arguments. Ji-young had to call for order 3 times before people quieted down. A man named Kang Min stood up. He was a philosopher, well respected for his writing about human nature. I want to share something. I have been studying why the Council fears us. It is not because we are violent. Many species are more violent than humans. It is not because we are numerous. Many species have larger populations. The Council fears us because we refuse to accept limits. Every other species in the Council has found their place. They have accepted who they are and stopped trying to become something more. But humans, we never stop pushing. We never stop asking what if. We never stop trying to break the rules. That is what scares them. Dr. Minho stood and activated a holographic display. Data appeared in the air showing graphs and charts. "Let me show you something," he said. "This is Council technology advancement over the past 10,000 years. You see this line? It is almost flat. They improve by about 1% every century. Now look at this line. This is human advancement over the past 40 years. We have improved by over 300% in the same areas. Our artificial intelligence alone is more advanced than anything the Council has. Our medical technology extends human life far beyond what they thought possible. Our propulsion research is on the verge of breakthroughs that will make their fastest ships look like toys. If we accept the decree, all of this stops. All of this dies." A colonial governor named Taiyang spoke from one of the screens. "Dr. Minho, your research is impressive. But what good is it if we are dead? If we refuse the Council, they will come for us. 847 species against one. How do we survive that?" "We do not fight them," Minho replied. "We leave. We go to unexplored space. We build something new, something they cannot control, and abandon everything we have built in Council space." Yunji asked. "Abandon our investments, our relationships, our access to their markets?" "Yes," Admiral Hijin said flatly. "We abandon it all. Because none of it matters if we are not free." An economist named Bora stood up. She was young but already famous for her unconventional ideas. "Actually, I think leaving might be economically beneficial in the long run. Yes, we lose access to Council markets, but we also stop paying Council taxes. We stop following Council trade regulations. We stop competing in markets where the rules are designed to favor older species. Humans thrive in frontier conditions. We always have. Some of our greatest achievements came from being alone and desperate. Maybe that is what we need again. Not safety and comfort, but challenge and freedom." The debate continued for hours. People argued about economics, military strength, moral principles, and practical concerns. Some wanted to fight. Some wanted to submit. But more and more people began to see a third path. Taehyun had been quiet throughout most of the discussion. Finally, Ji-young called on him. "Ambassador, you know the Council better than anyone here. You have worked with them for 20 years. What do you think we should do?" Taehyun stood slowly. He looked around at all the faces watching him, waiting for his wisdom. 20 years ago, I believed in the Council. I thought it was a force for good. I thought it brought species together in peace and cooperation. I was wrong. The Council does not promote cooperation. It enforces stagnation. It does not protect peace. It protects power. The power of the oldest species to control everyone else. I have watched 127 species accept decrees like ours. I saw what happened to them. They became smaller, quieter, less alive. Within a few generations, they were just going through the motions of existence. They stopped dreaming. They stopped trying. They stopped being who they were. I do not want that for humanity. I do not want my grandchildren to grow up in a world where they are told what they can and cannot do by beings who are afraid of change. I do not want them to live small lives because we were too scared to live big ones." He paused and looked directly at Secretary General Ji-young. "I think we should leave. I think we should walk out and never look back. I think we should show the galaxy that there is another way to live. A way based on freedom instead of control. A way based on growth instead of stability. A way based on hope instead of fear." The room was completely silent. Then someone started clapping. Then another. Within seconds, half the room was applauding. The other half sat in worried silence. Ji-young raised her hand for quiet. "We have heard all the arguments. Now we must vote. This vote will be binding. Whatever the majority decides, all of humanity will follow. Does everyone understand?" Heads nodded around the room and on the video screens. "Then let us vote. All those in favor of compliance with the Council decree indicate now." Hands went up. Lights appeared on screens. The computer counted. 23% voted for compliance. All those in favor of refusing the decree and preparing for military conflict indicate now. Fewer hands this time. 10% voted for war. All those in favor of withdrawing from the Galactic Council and establishing independent human civilization indicate now. Hands rose across the room. Screens lit up with votes from colonies across space. The computer took longer to count this time. Finally, the number appeared on the main display. 67%. Ji-young looked at the number for a long moment. Then she nodded. The decision is made. Humanity will withdraw from the Galactic Council. Ambassador Daehyun, you will return to Proxima Station and deliver our response. Admiral Heejin, you will begin preparation for Operation Exodus. Dr. Minho, you will coordinate with all research facilities to secure critical data and technology. Everyone else, return to your posts and prepare your people. This will be the largest movement of population in human history. We have 60 days to complete the withdrawal. We will not waste a single hour. As people filed out of the room, Daehyun remained behind. Ji-young approached him. Are you ready to deliver this message? She asked quietly. I have been preparing for this moment my entire career, Daehyun said. I just did not know it until now. What will you say to them? Daehyun smiled, but there was no humor in it. The truth. Simple and direct. We decline your terms. We choose freedom. Goodbye. 24 hours later, Daehyun stood once again before the Galactic Council. The chamber was even more crowded than before. Word had spread that humanity would give its answer today. Species from across the galaxy had sent representatives to witness this moment. High Arbiter Kelthrak looked down at him. Ambassador Daehyun of Earth, has humanity made its decision? Yes, Daehyun said. His voice was calm and clear. Humanity declines your terms. Effective immediately, we withdraw from the Galactic Council. We will remove all our people from shared facilities within 60 days. We wish you well, but we choose our own path. For a moment, nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The idea was so foreign, so impossible, that they could not process it. Then the chamber exploded in chaos. The exodus began within hours of Daehyun's announcement. Across the galaxy, humans started moving. Ships departed from council stations. Scientists packed their research. Traders closed their businesses. Families said goodbye to alien neighbors they had known for decades. It was the largest coordinated movement in human history. Admiral Heejin commanded the operation from her flagship, the Indomitable. The ship's bridge was a chaos of activity. Officers called out status reports. Holographic displays showed the positions of thousands of human vessels. Every ship, from massive carriers to tiny personal craft, was heading home. Admiral, we have 847 vessels in the first wave, her tactical officer reported. All stations have confirmed evacuation schedules. We should have everyone out of council space within 40 days. Good, Heejin said. But stay alert. The council is still in shock, but they will recover. When they do, some of them might try to stop us. She was right to be cautious. On Proxima Station, the council was meeting in emergency session. The chamber was loud with angry voices. Some species demanded military action. Others called for economic sanctions. A few actually supported humanity's decision, but they were quickly shouted down. High Arbiter Kelthrak struggled to maintain order. This is unprecedented. In 200,000 years of council history, no species has ever voluntarily withdrawn. We must decide how to respond. A Vextar admiral named Graxton stood. Let them go. We will blockade their space and cut off all trade. Without council technology and markets, they will fail within a generation. They will come crawling back, begging to be readmitted. Then we can dictate even harsher terms. Many species agreed with this plan. It seemed safe. It did not require direct confrontation, but it would still punish humanity for their defiance. Meanwhile, on a remote research station in the Kepler cluster, Captain Ray Young faced a difficult decision. She was a scientist, not a soldier. Her team had been studying unique quantum phenomena for 3 years. The research was groundbreaking. It could revolutionize faster-than-light travel, but the station was in council space, and the evacuation order had come. We need more time, her lead researcher pleaded. Just 2 more weeks and we will have the data we need. Ray Young shook her head. We have orders. Pack everything that is portable. Wipe everything else. We leave in 12 hours. But 12 hours later, Vextar ships arrived. They had come to claim the station before humans could strip it of technology. Captain Ray Young, the Vextar commander's voice came over the radio. You will remain at the station. Your research belongs to the council now. Ray Young smiled. Actually, Commander, we are already gone. She pressed a button. The station's lights went out. When they came back on, every human was gone. Rayung had used their experimental quantum teleportation technology to evacuate her entire team instantly to a hidden location. The Vextar found nothing but empty rooms. News of the incident spread quickly. The Council realized that humans had been holding back. They had technologies the Council did not even know existed. As the exodus continued, another pattern emerged. Some alien species began secretly contacting humans. They did not want to leave the Council, but they were impressed by humanity's courage. They offered quiet support. Commander Nari, head of human intelligence, coordinated these secret relationships. She met with representatives from 22 different species. They shared information about Council military movements. They promised to vote against harsh sanctions. Some even offered sanctuary if humans needed it. "Why are you helping us?" Nari asked one alien diplomat. The alien, a floating jellyfish-like being pulsed with bioluminescent light. "Because you did what we have dreamed of doing for centuries. You said no. You walked away from power and chose freedom. That takes courage we do not have. But we can support those who do." Back on Earth, Dr. Minho worked around the clock. His team was securing the most critical technology. The artificial intelligence systems were especially important. The Council wanted them destroyed, which meant they were valuable. "Doctor," one of his researchers said, "we have a problem. The quantum organic AI network is too large to move. It exists across 17 different facilities. We cannot pack it up and take it with us." Minho thought for a moment. Then he smiled. "We do not need to move it. We need to make it mobile. Give every ship its own AI core. Make each one independent but able to network with others. Turn our weakness into strength." The team worked for 36 hours straight. When they finished, every human ship had an artificial intelligence partner. The ships could think, learn, and adapt. It was technology the Council had banned because it made individual ships too powerful to control. On day 38 of the Exodus, the confrontation everyone feared finally came. Admiral Graxton led a fleet of 250 Council warships to the border of human space. His message was simple: stop the Exodus or face the consequences. Admiral Hiejin met them at the border with a much smaller force. Only 80 human ships faced the Council fleet. By traditional military calculation, it was not even a fair fight. "Admiral Hiejin," Graxton transmitted, "you will cease your withdrawal immediately. You will return all personnel and technology to Council facilities. You will comply with the decree." Hiejin sat in her command chair, perfectly calm. "Admiral Graxton, we are leaving peacefully. We have harmed no one. We have taken only what belongs to us. You have no authority to stop us. I have 250 ships. You have 80. I have authority." "Do you really want to test that theory?" Hiejin asked quietly. She sent a signal. Every human ship activated systems the Council had never seen. The ships began to phase in and out of normal space, making them impossible to target. The Council fleet's targeting computers went haywire. Then Hiejin did something even more shocking. She hacked the Council fleet's communication network. On every ship, a message appeared. "We could have done this at any time. We chose not to. We do not want war. We want freedom. Let us go in peace, and we part as friends. Force us to fight, and you will regret it." For 14 hours, the two fleets faced each other. Neither side fired. Neither side retreated. The tension was unbearable. Finally, Admiral Graxton made a decision. He had lived for 600 years. He had fought in 30 wars. He was old, enough to recognize a fight he could not win, even if his ships outnumbered the enemy. The problem was not numbers. The problem was that humans fought differently. They adapted, they innovated. They used technologies in ways no one expected. Fighting them would be costly, even if the Council won. "Stand down," Graxton ordered his fleet. "Let them pass." The Council ships pulled back. The human exodus continued. When news of the confrontation spread, reactions were mixed. Some species admired Graxton's wisdom in avoiding bloodshed. Others called him a coward for backing down. But everyone understood what had really happened. Humanity had demonstrated that they were not helpless. They were not weak. They were dangerous if cornered, but peaceful if left alone. On day 60, the last human left Council space. Ambassador Daehyun was aboard the final ship to depart from Proxima Station. He took one last look at the massive structure that had been the center of galactic government for thousands of years. Before leaving, he placed a small plaque on the wall near the human embassy entrance. It read simply, "Humanity was here. We chose freedom." As his ship jumped to faster-than-light speed, Secretary General Ji-young broadcast a message to all of humanity. Her face appeared on every screen in human space. "Today, we are alone again," she said. "Not because we failed, but because we refused to accept limits we did not choose. The galaxy ahead is vast and unknown. That is exactly where humanity belongs. To everyone watching, to every person who chose this path with us, I say this: we are free. Now let us show them what free humans can accomplish." Across human space, on ships and stations and colonies, people heard her words. Some cried, some cheered. All of them felt the same thing. They had made the right choice. Whatever came next, they would face it together, on their own terms. The exodus was complete. Now the real work would begin. 5 years had passed since humanity walked out of the Galactic Council. 5 years that changed everything. The Council expected humans to fail, to come back begging for readmission. Instead, they watched in growing disbelief as humanity thrived. The Phoenix sector had become the heart of human civilization. 47 star systems, 23 colony worlds, 8 billion people. The capital planet, Athena, was home to New Horizon City, a place that amazed even hardened space travelers. Towers of glass and steel reached toward the sky. Ships of 100 different designs filled the orbital docks. Markets sold goods from across human space and beyond. Dr. Minho walked through the halls of the Transhuman Research Collective, the largest scientific facility in human space. He was 63 now, with gray in his hair, but his mind was sharper than ever. His team had accomplished things that would have been impossible under council restrictions. "Doctor, you need to see this," one of his researchers called out. The young woman was practically bouncing with excitement. Minho followed her to a laboratory where a holographic display showed complex data streams. "We did it. The quantum organic integration is complete. Our AI systems can now interface directly with biological neural networks. Humans and artificial intelligence can work together as a single consciousness if they choose." "Show me," Minho said. The researcher placed a small device on her temple, her eyes unfocused for a moment. Then she began to solve mathematical equations in her head at impossible speeds, predicting weather patterns across an entire planet, composing music while simultaneously designing a new ship hull. She was doing the work of 100 specialists at once. "This changes everything," Minho whispered. "This is what the Council feared most. This is why they wanted our AI research destroyed." Meanwhile, Captain Rae-young had completed her propulsion research. Her experimental drives could move ships 10 times faster than Council standard technology. What used to take weeks now took days. Human explorers were reaching regions of space that had been completely inaccessible before. One of those explorers, a young woman named Yuna, had just made an incredible discovery. Her ship had found something in the deep void between star clusters. Something ancient and massive. "Captain, you are not going to believe this," Yuna transmitted back to base. "It is a megastructure, artificial, bigger than anything we have ever built, bigger than anything the Council has built, and it is old, really old." When the data reached Athena, it caused immediate excitement. A team of scientists began studying the information Yuna sent back. What they found was both exciting and disturbing. The structure was a data repository. Inside, they found star maps showing billions of unexplored systems. They found technological blueprints far beyond anything humans or the Council possessed. They found art and music and literature from a civilization that had reached heights of achievement humans could barely imagine. And they found a warning. The message was simple, translated into hundreds of languages. We achieved perfection. We eliminated all problems. We removed all risk. We stopped growing. By the time we realized our mistake, we had forgotten how to change. The universe did not stop changing. We could not adapt. Now we are gone. To whoever finds this, never stop becoming. Back in council space, the situation was very different. Without human innovation, economic growth had stalled. Technology that humans had been developing was no longer available. Products that humans made were now rare and expensive on black markets. Worse, young members of council species were asking difficult questions. Why had the council forced humans out? Why were they so afraid of change? Why had galactic civilization been essentially the same for thousands of years? Some species began to reform their own societies. 67 species demanded changes to council structure. 18 species declared independence following humanity's example. The galaxy was waking up. High Arbiter Kelthrak watched all this with growing concern. He was 4,000 years old. He had seen empires rise and fall, but he had never seen change happen this fast. One species walking out had started a cascade that was transforming the entire galaxy. Finally, he made a decision that would have been unthinkable 5 years ago. He contacted Secretary General Jiyoung directly, bypassing all official channels. "Secretary General, we need to talk," his message said. "Not as counsel to member species. As equals, the galaxy is changing. We should change with it." 3 weeks later, a council delegation arrived at Athena. It was the first official contact between humans and the council since the Exodus. Ambassador Daehyun met them at the spaceport. Kelthrak descended from his ship, his crystalline body glowing softly in the afternoon light. "Ambassador Daehyun, it has been a long time. High Arbiter, welcome to Athena. I assume you are not here to demand our compliance again?" "No, we are here to apologize, and to learn." Over the next 3 months, humans and council representatives negotiated a new relationship. Not membership, but partnership. Not subordination, but cooperation between equals. The Treaty of Athena established several principles. First, humanity would remain independent. Second, trade and cultural exchange would be free and open. Third, a mutual defense pact would protect both sides from external threats. Fourth, scientific collaboration would happen in neutral zones where politics could not interfere. Secretary General Jiyoung addressed both humans and the council delegation at the treaty signing. She was 70 now, and this would be her last major act before retirement. 5 years ago, we left because we had to choose between freedom and security. We chose freedom, even though it was terrifying. Today, we prove that this was the right choice. We have not just survived. We have grown stronger. We have built something new, something better. But we do not claim to have all the answers. We do not say our way is the only way. What we offer is simply this: proof that change is possible, proof that you can choose your own path, proof that freedom is worth the risk. The galaxy is big enough for many different approaches to civilization. Let us compete, cooperate, learn from each other. Let us grow together, not by enforcing uniformity, but by celebrating diversity. After the ceremony, Daehyun and Kelthrak stood together on an observation deck, looking out at the city below. Ships from dozens of species came and went freely from the spaceport. "Your people have accomplished remarkable things," Kelthrak said. "In 5 years, you have advanced more than most species do in 1,000. "We had no choice," Daehyun replied. "When you are alone, you either adapt or die. We chose to adapt. The council is beginning to understand what we lost when we forced you out. Not just your technology or your trade. We lost the example you set. We lost the reminder that civilization is not a destination to reach, but a journey to continue." Daehyun smiled. "Then perhaps something good came from all this. You learned. We learned. The galaxy learned. What will humanity do now?" Kelthrak asked. "The same thing we have always done. We will explore. We will experiment. We will make mistakes and learn from them. We will keep growing. We will never stop becoming." In orbit above Athena, Captain Rae-young's ship was preparing for another expedition. Her crew included humans and aliens working side by side. They were heading into completely unexplored space, equipped with the new drives that made such journeys possible. "Captain, all systems ready," her first officer reported. "Course plotted for the outer rim. Unknown space, unknown systems, unknown possibilities." Rae-young smiled. "Then let us find out what is out there. That is what humans do best." Her ship jumped to faster than light speed and disappeared into the void. Behind them, New Horizon City glowed like a beacon, a symbol of what happens when a species chooses freedom over fear. Change over stability, growth over perfection. The galaxy was watching. Some species were inspired, some were envious, some were afraid. But all of them understood that something fundamental had changed. Humanity had shown that there was another way to live. Now slowly but surely others were beginning to follow. 20 years had passed since humanity walked out of the Galactic Council. An entire generation had grown up knowing only freedom. They had never lived under council rules. They had never been told what they could or could not do. They were the first truly independent humans in galactic history. Captain Soyan stood on the bridge of the exploration vessel Pathfinder. She was 28 years old, the daughter of Admiral Hyejin. Her mother had led the Exodus when Soyan was just a child. Now Soyan commanded one of humanity's most advanced ships, heading into regions where no one had ever been. "Captain, we are approaching the coordinates," her navigation officer said. "The ancient beacon should be right ahead." Years ago, explorer Yuna had found the ancient megastructure. Now deeper exploration had revealed something even more significant. Another beacon, left by the same vanished civilization. This one contained a message specifically designed to catch the attention of younger species. When Soyan's team decoded the beacon, they found a warning that would shake the entire galaxy. "We were like you once," the message began. "Young, ambitious, growing fast. We achieved everything we dreamed of. We built perfect societies. We eliminated all problems. We created systems so efficient, so stable that nothing ever went wrong. And that was our mistake. We forgot that life is not about reaching a destination. Life is about the journey. We stopped growing because we thought we had arrived. We stopped changing because we thought we were perfect. We stopped adapting because we thought we had solved everything. Then the universe changed. It always does. And we could not change with it. We had built our perfection so carefully that we could not modify it without breaking everything. By the time we understood our error, it was too late. Now we are gone. Only this message remains. To whoever finds this, never stop becoming. Never accept that you have arrived. Never build a system so perfect that it cannot evolve. The price of perfection is death." When Soyan transmitted this message back to human space, it spread rapidly. Within days, every human had heard it. Within weeks, it had reached council space. Within months, it was being discussed by hundreds of species across the galaxy. The message hit the Galactic Council particularly hard. The ancient civilization that left the warning had achieved exactly what the Council was trying to achieve. Perfect order, complete stability, eternal peace, and it had destroyed them. This discovery prompted a galaxy-wide conversation about the purpose of civilization itself. Was the goal to reach a final state and maintain it forever, or was the goal continuous growth and change? A young philosopher named Seo Hyun became famous for her writing on this subject. She was 29 years old and had studied under the great philosopher Kang Min. Her ideas were spreading across hundreds of worlds. "We must choose between two paths," she wrote. "We can seek to become something and then remain that forever. Or we can commit to constant becoming, always changing, always growing, never finished. The first path leads to perfection and death. The second path leads to chaos and life. Humanity chose life. The question is, will others join us?" Her words found an audience far beyond human space. Young members of ancient species read her work and began to question their own societies. Why had nothing changed in their civilizations for thousands of years? Why were they still doing things the same way their ancestors had? Why did they fear change so much? Back on Earth, the first galactic summit was being organized. It would not be held in one place. Instead, it would rotate between different locations, ensuring no single species had home advantage. The structure was deliberately designed to be temporary and flexible, able to evolve as needs changed. Secretary General Ji Young, now 82 years old, would give the opening address. It would be her final public appearance. Her health was failing, but she insisted on delivering this message personally. Representatives from 300 species gathered for the first summit. Some came from the council. Some came from independent civilizations. Some came from species so young they had only recently achieved spaceflight. All came to listen. Ji Young walked slowly to the podium. Her body was old, but her mind was still sharp. She looked out at the assembly and began to speak. 20 years ago, we made a choice that terrified us. We chose freedom over security. We chose growth over stability. We chose to become rather than to be. Many of you thought we were foolish. Some of you thought we would fail. A few of you secretly hoped we would succeed. Today I stand before you to say this. We did not make the right choice. There is no right choice. There is only the choice that matches who you are. For humanity, freedom and growth are essential. We cannot survive without them. But other species may thrive in different conditions. That is okay. That is good. The galaxy does not need uniformity. The galaxy needs diversity. Different approaches. Different philosophies. Different mistakes to learn from. Our gift to you is not our answers. Our gift is our willingness to keep asking questions, to keep trying new things, to keep becoming something we are not yet. The ancient civilization that left those warnings shows us what happens when we stop. When we decide we have arrived. When we think we are finished. Death. Not immediate death, but slow death. The death of possibility, the death of potential, the death of becoming. So I say to all of you, do not try to become like us. Do not try to copy our system. Instead, find your own path. Discover what makes your species unique. Embrace your own form of becoming. And most importantly, never stop. Never decide you are finished. Never accept that you have arrived. The chamber erupted in applause. It lasted for 5 full minutes. When it finally died down, High Arbiter Kelthrak stood to respond. Secretary General Ji-Young, you have taught us something we should have known 4,000 years ago. The Council was founded to preserve peace and order. Somewhere along the way, we forgot that peace and order are tools, not goals. The goal is life. Vibrant, chaotic, growing, changing life. The Council will change. It must change. Or it will die like the civilization that left those warnings. We thank humanity for showing us this truth, even though we fought against you at every step. After the summit, Ambassador Daehyun walked through the gardens of the meeting facility with Kelthrak. Both of them were old now. Daehyun was 78, Kelthrak over 4,000. But they had become unlikely friends over the years. Do you think we really changed anything? Kelthrak asked. Or did we just talk about change? Daehyun smiled. Look around. 20 years ago, this gathering would have been impossible. Species from outside the Council, sharing ideas with Council members as equals. Young species being heard alongside ancient ones. Ideas being valued more than age or power. Yes, things have changed, and they will keep changing. What will humanity do now? Kelthrak asked. The same thing we always do. We will explore. We will experiment. We will make mistakes and learn from them. We will keep growing. Captain Soyeon and her generation are already pushing further than we ever imagined. They have launched expeditions that will reach neighboring galaxies. By the time those ships return, humanity will be different again. We will have become something new. In orbit above the summit facility, Captain Soyeon's Pathfinder was preparing to depart. Her next mission would take her further than any human had ever gone. Deep into unexplored space, seeking new discoveries, new challenges, new possibilities. Her crew included humans and aliens working together. The old divisions between species were fading. Young people did not care as much about which race someone belonged to. They cared about shared dreams and common goals. Captain, all systems ready, her first officer reported. Course plotted for the edge of known space and beyond. Then let us go, Soyeon said. Let us find out what is waiting for us out there. The ship jumped to faster than light speed and vanished into the darkness between stars. 50 years later, a monument was placed near the location where Proxima Station once stood. The old council facility had been replaced by the rotating summit station, a symbol of the new way of doing things. The monument was simple. Just a metal plaque with words in 100 languages. It read, "Here humanity chose freedom over security." In doing so, they reminded the galaxy of a truth forgotten by ancient civilizations. The purpose of life is not to reach perfection, but to continue growing. The Galactic Council ordered compliance. Humanity walked out instead. And in that moment, they walked forward into a future no one could predict but everyone can now imagine. Across the galaxy, species looked at those words and understood. Some followed humanity's path. Others found their own way. But all of them learned the same lesson. Never stop becoming. The universe was vast. The future was unknown, and that humanity had shown them was exactly as it should be.